I just want to come on here and talk about the unbearable hag Amanda Seals. I watched the Club Shay Shay interview, and it was a hard watch, a whole 3 hours and 10 minutes. As everyone knows, she started off the interview saying that she has autism, and it hooked me because I'm a parent of autistic adults, so I have over 21 experience dealing with children with autism. I have three, like I said, but she first opened the interview saying that she has autism, and here's how she said it.
Last month. It's just been a very like difficult time, but there's been really beautiful things that have come out
And
of
I
it
just
that I
want to say,
speak
this
to,
lady
in
is—she's
this
so
conversation.
So we
unlikable.
started there.
She wonder why
We'll
people
start
don't
there. We
like
can
her.
go
She
to
wants to be the
another
smartest in
question
the
on
room,
that.
and I think that's why a lot of people
What started the
pretty much don't
separation?
like her.
What
But here,
caused
here's
Amanda
her
to
confession,
all of a
her
sudden
diagnosis.
see things, or not see things differently, but maybe see things as they actually are?
Um, because so many people were seeing what I was experiencing, and they shared with me that they had had similar experiences.
Okay.
And so I recently was diagnosed as someone who has autism spectrum disorder,
Okay.
which is very
Okay, now you all
difficult
heard her say
to
she was
identify in Black
recently
women because
diagnosed
of
with
racism.
autism
Uh,
spectrum
So
disorder.
what
Only for her to come back a mere probably 24 hours or less to then turn around and say that here's what she had to say about that.
he was asking, no, I have not been clinically diagnosed by a doctor because I'm not paying $10,000 to do that. And most people will tell you that at this age, you don't need a clinical diagnosis in that sense.
So why wouldn't you need a clinical diagnosis if you are telling people that you have autism? Almost as to uh negate the way that you act and treat people. It seems like she likes to be the smartest person in the room, and that what makes Amanda very unlikable. I can see why she leave a bad taste in people's mouth. The way she goes on about, I know she's a very smart woman. She went to school for her African American studies with a what is it, second degree in hip hop arts or whatever the hell she called it. So yes, Amanda, we know you are a smart woman, but the reason you are unlikable is because you carry this air about yourself that you want to be the smartest in the room. So we're gonna talk about the first 20 minutes of this Club Shay Shay interview.
exactly is autism spectrum? Because I hear people say you're on the spectrum.
It used to be called Asperger's.
Okay.
But that is no longer what it's called
Okay.
because, to my knowledge, Asperger was a Nazi.
Okay.
She always got to take it
But
back to some
what it simply
history
means is
related
that your
something
brain
to
functions
explain
in a
away how
different
she,
way. So you're
why she make a
neurodivergent.
certain
And you also
statement.
have certain tendencies that are considered outside of what the neurotypical way of things is.
Okay.
And
Now I will say it seems like she probably just read about autism and decided to take bits and pieces from it to say, okay, well, I identify with this, so we just gonna say I have autism.
and a lot of times that can have you present in a manner that people
She
misrepresent,
know all the
Okay. Okay.
terminology.
which is the story of my
Okay.
life.
Okay.
And so when all of this started ballooning out of nowhere and people were saying, you're unlikable and you're a
Because you
bully.
are.
No, not you're a bully, but you're being bullied. And these were tropes that have been associated with me
And I
before,
also
but
think
have
that
been a
during
new
this
level
whole
of
interview, she was very
visibility
Right.
dismissive
at this juncture.
towards how Shannon was trying
And you
to
get people saying things like, you
you know
are
give his perspective
difficult,
on certain
you
things. She
are
was very
mean, you are
dismissive towards
nasty, and
him.
you know that you're none of these things.
Right.
But they're attributing it to things that are not actually action based. Like, I don't cheat people.
Ma'am, a lot of this stuff is action based, and you all will see. I guess further as the interview goes along. Just in general, how she talk.
I don't lie to people. I don't stab people in the back. I don't operate in mendacity. I am not
She
duplicitous.
loved
I don't do
throwing out
none
her
of this
big
shit.
words.
But I have a certain tone about how I
Now I'm
speak.
not saying nothing's
And that
wrong with
makes
that,
people feel
but
like, oh, I'm mean because something
Amanda
about the
has
tone that I
a
speak
bigger
in
issue
doesn't
than
make them
her
feel a
self-diagnosed
certain way.
autism.
So,
And so,
can I ask you this? Not to cut you off, but were they people that you had a relationship with? Were this in the workplace that you became difficult? Or is this people that you just have general interactions with?
these aren't people I've met.
So it's
The people who are saying these things about me have never met me.
I'm pretty sure they have
and that's
some.
impacting you?
Or you just give the impression off that make people know that they don't want to deal with you.
For a number of reasons. One, I am not a sociopath.
You are.
Two, it is actually a part of being autistic that you are very, very, very sensitive.
All right, there she go with her being autistic thing. Uh,
Um, really only
but
consider.
you
I
forgot she just
recently,
said.
they cut out at the end. He was asking, "No, I have not been clinically diagnosed by a doctor because I'm not paying $10,000 to do that."
Okay.
And most
All
people
right,
will tell
Amanda,
you
you were not
that
clinically diagnosed, but let's go back with the self-diagnosis.
sensitive to what people think about you because you are always keenly aware that you are an alien. You are keenly aware that you are different. You are keenly aware that something
Now
is
autistic people are
very
aliens.
odd
She is
about
so
you. And
outrageous.
you're always, always trying to make the room feel good. We literally just talked about it.
That would be called a people pleaser, ma'am. From my experience, people with autism don't care what the room thinks about them. You know, they are in their own world, but not a world that care about what people think about them.
It's my habit.
Right.
It's my habit to try. I'm gonna cry already. I've only been here for like 5 damn minutes.
And you opened up with the bullshit, Amanda.
It is my habit because I've always been labeled as this. You think you know everything.
You
It's
do.
not that I think I know everything, but I really did know the answer. And I'm thinking I'm helping the room out by having the answer.
Oh,
But they like,
I think you're a know-it-all.
you're a lot. You're a show off. You're extra. In my sophomore year
And
in
I can
college,
see
I
that
was put
being
in a
an
suite with
issue. She
7 other
probably,
women. And the day
like
I
being
got
the center
there,
of
my name
attention,
had
but
been
that
ripped
can
off
be
the building and fallen on
annoying.
the ground. I didn't even know these women. And 2 weeks in of them not talking to me, I said, listen, I'd like to have a Friday night where I buy a bottle of tequila and we all just sit around and y'all can take shots and tell me why you don't like me. And everybody's reason was,
Now, who sits up and asks
I don't
people
like you
to
because you
come
gotta do
over
all
and
that.
have shots
I
to
don't
say
like you
what you
because
don't
you
like
extra.
about them?
I
That
don't like
ought to
you because
let
you
you
a
know
show
right
off.
there you the problem.
None of that shit is anything having, like, I'm not harming them.
Right.
Like, I'm literally just trying to
But they
exist.
formed this opinion of you prior to meeting you.
Like, I'm just trying to exist. I'm literally just existing in the world. And it's a fucking problem. And so when you are also, I'm also an only child, you know, like
okay.
I also, so I,
All right, now we learned that she is an only child. Now, I could very much say that a lot of her being the only child attributes to her personality now. You know, children, they are usually only kids. They learn how to play with themselves. They build up fictional characters in their head. They have probably a lot of good imagination skills. So I think, her thinking that everybody out to get her uh is probably stems from her being the only child, not knowing who to trust, not knowing how to build certain relationships, etc.
I didn't have like built-in support systems outside of my mom. You know, I didn't have like that that brother sister support system. And so I've always felt like the outsider. I've always been an outlier. You know, it's always interesting when people call me the mean girl. I
A
say I must have
liar,
turned into a
yeah.
bad bitch because I was flat chested and loud for a really long time. Like I was always the bullied one.
Right.
I've been bullied for all type of shit. But when you ask like why does that bother you, it's because no one wants to be invalidated. I don't think anyone is really okay with that. And I think that also as a Black woman, we are always kind of put in this position of appeasement. And how do you not disrupt the space? How do you not disrupt the space? And if you're going to not like me, I would at least like it to be for a legit reason.
Okay.
And I'm so
And I think a
happy
lot
to
of
be in
people
this
have a
space with
reason
you
not to like you,
because, to
Miss
be
Amanda.
honest, like I've spent so much time trying to convince people Shannon, trying to convince people of like, no, no, that's not what it is.
You just heard her. She spends a lot of time trying to convince people. So there it goes back to my. She's a people pleaser, not autistic, ma'am. And in all your people pleasing, people still don't like your ass.
That's not what it is. And it's like, I'm off it.
Yeah.
I'm off it. There is the truth. There is my truth. And a lot of times, baby, it's the same.
And your truth
And
is
one of
what
the
you
reasons
want
why you
people
can
to
see that is
listen
because
to.
when I recount a story, I
Let me
want you to
see
notice
when
this
is
when I
Amanda
recount
Seals'
stories.
birthday.
I very rarely include my feelings. It's never, I felt that this person did this. I thought that this person did this. It's like reading Game of Thrones. He's going to give you this, he's just giving you the sequence of events. You don't see the feelings of Catelyn Stark at the fucking Red Wedding until you watch the show, because in the writing, it is just a series of events. That is part of my autism. I speak in
That is just
directs.
so
I
gross when
speak
she
in
says that. It
linear
make my
spaces. I
flesh
speak in
crawl.
literals. That's part of the reason why people don't like me neither, because I'm literal and I take things literally.
You
So
do.
if you say to me, I'm gonna be there at 5, I'm like, why you ain't here at 5? They're like, well, I'm at 5-ish. Well, you should have said 5-ish because I was waiting for you at 5.
July 1st. July 1st. If anybody into horoscopes,
let me ask you
she's
this.
a Cancer. So yeah,
How old were you
she is a
when
very
you got
emotional
diagnosed? And did you always
being.
feel that you was different and you felt something was wrong?
Now he asked her
What
was
was
she
today?
diagnosed.
Today is Thursday, the 18th.
So 42 and however many days until I was just recently diagnosed.
Okay.
She was
And
just
this came out
recently
of this
diagnosed.
situation because so many
Ma'am,
black
you are a
women who
liar.
are autistic said to me, I see you. You need to, and I've always thought, you can look at other interviews. I have mentioned before, like, I think I'm on the spectrum because I'm an 80s
Spectrum of
baby.
bullshit.
This was not really a part of the narrative.
Right.
And as we started seeing more about autism and you start seeing shows about different characters, and I start learning more like from people like Holly Robinson Pete.
Don't drop that trash on Holly name.
This feels really like me. Love doing lockup is back.
Yeah, but like I was saying, she basically self-diagnosed herself. It didn't go over well. She had to come back and recant her statement about being diagnosed with autism. She should have never even came out her throat with that.
To learn certain things.
Yeah.
So
60s and 70s babies just got whipped and put to bed.
And to be honest, it's true. And to be honest, I just want to say, like, so my mom, so in this revelation, my mother started looking up like symptoms of autistic children and was like, oh, you exhibited all of this. But I didn't know what to do.
So I
with
guess
this.
her
She's a
mother
single
was the
parent.
second
She's trying to
opinion
figure it
in
out.
her
But I
diagnosis.
really just thank my mom, because what my mom couldn't show up for me emotionally, I realized that she was able to, at the very
And then you
least,
take shots
that's
at
not
your
even fair to
mother,
say, she
who
was
just
able
you
to
said sat up there and
still let
backed
me
you up
be who
saying
I
you have
am
autism.
instead
She's
of
a
beating it out of me,
dingbat.
which happens to so many kids who are misunderstood. You
So
know, like,
smart, she's
she's West
stupid.
Indian. Laja Palgradita Massive. And so, like, I'm over here being this precocious, you know, loquacious child that's always talking, and they're telling her, like, why you letting her just do all this talking and all of that? Why she too fresh? She too fresh. Why you doing all? Why you letting her just run she so? And my mom is like, that's Amanda. Like, let her live.
That's
And
Amanda.
most,
It
let's be
seemed like
real,
she didn't
most
have much
parents,
of a
no, shut it up.
what's the word I'm looking for? Her mother probably just let her say whatever the hell she wanted to say about her being an only child, and probably thought she said everything that came out her mouth probably was the cutest thing that Amanda's mother heard. That's why she has no self-regulation now. That's what Amanda needs, self-regulation.
If my father had lived with me, I would never have been the person I am now, because he wouldn't have been able to handle it. And I believe that he is autistic too.
No, she
He's
probably would have popped you in
no,
your
because
damn
he's
mouth.
brilliant.
Right.
He's just, he was never seen the way he needed to be seen, and so it turned into narcissism.
But you can be brilliant without being autistic, though, right?
Hell yeah, 1,000%.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But just
because I'm both.
but
I'm gifted and autistic.
Yes, but
wow.
Amanda, sometimes, you know, just because you have a special gift, that doesn't mean that, you know, you have a spectrum or you have a
See,
Just
he was
because you
calling
see
her
things
out on her
differently, it
bullshit.
doesn't mean that you're on the spectrum or you.
This isn't related to simply how I see things. This is related to how my brain functions.
Yes, but just because your brain functions differently from say mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you feel just because your brain functions differently that's what caused it, or there's a clinical diagnosis that
There are clinical diagnoses
for you.
Yes, there are clinical diagnoses for autism. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you heard Shannon trying to bag her out the bullshit. Now let's not forget what this damn dean back set up here and said. Quick reminder.
At the end, he was asking, no, I have not been clinically diagnosed by a doctor because I'm not paying $10,000 to do that. And most people will tell you that at this age, you don't need a clinical diagnosis.
Go to hell, bitch. I mean, the man, he sat up there, and I think when he kept asking her, he kind of felt that she was on that bullshit too.
I know
When you take the tests, when you take the test, you're like, hold up, this is. I've been thinking my whole life that this was a problem. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that when I.
How would you know about a test if you have not been clinically diagnosed to take a test, Amanda?
The fact that I have to doodle, I have to draw all the time. I have to be doing things all the time to be stimulated. It's literally called stimming. Okay. Like the fact that when I'm a baby, I have to rock like in a child pose, like literally.
Bitch, all
rock.
babies
My
rock.
like, why is she doing that?
She's so delusional. I can't stand Amanda Seals.
Literally dealing with her anxiety in a self-soothing way. Okay. The fact that even little
she just sat up
like,
there and looked up every definition of autism and just took whatever stuck to the wall.
Like these are small things that are indicative of like your brain functions in a very particular way.
Right. Okay.
And that functionality also displays itself in your behavior.
No, right? You just an asshole.
And it's also atypical to the way that our society functions. Mm-hmm. So for instance, like this society is very keen on people performing. All this phoniness.
She's so difficult.
All the time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And when you are autistic, you literally are unable to even catch these certain social cues. There have been twice in my life where I was in a fight and I didn't know I was about to be in a fight because I just didn't understand the social cues.
Right.
I literally didn't understand what was happening.
Okay.
You know, I'm thinking like they said come outside and I'm like, what's up? And then I get punched in the fucking face.
Should have been.
I won the fight.
You let her get up. She got up first, and you still won.
Yes, sir.
Damn, you got squabble skills like that?
I have rage.
Oh.
Probably stemming from being the only child and a fucking bitch.
You single?
Yes. You want to talk about it?
No. We're gonna talk about it later. So let me ask you this. So
now he asked her if she was single, and then she got mad at him because him and Gilbert Arenas, they was talking about it on their show, and you know they were saying that maybe she's single because of how she act, which I could say that's very well true. Let's see what she had to say about that.
Why is Gilbert Arenas even talking about me?
As educated as she is, right?
Yeah.
She's there's a standard of a man that she's looking for.
Right. Yeah.
If it's not on the same educational level as her, she's gonna look down on. And but that is if they're more educated than her, then they talking down to her. Right. So these are the type of women that will typically be single because they can't find an equal partner to.
Now I agree with what he said that, you know, if she get with somebody that don't know a couple of big words, she gonna look down on them. And then if she get with someone that's quote unquote smarter than her, then you know she's not gonna go for that either because she wants to be the smartest person in the room. Point blank. Period. Amanda wants to be the smartest person in the room. She's not gonna like anything anybody has to say about her. If she finds something she can debate or argue about, that's what she's gonna do. That's just Miss Amanda Seals. Like I said, I'm reviewing the first 20 minutes of the Club Shay Shay interview. As you all know, Amanda started the first 5 minutes of the interview saying that she was autistic, only to come back less than 24 hours later and say, well, no, I didn't want to pay for the test. I haven't been clinically diagnosed. Lunatic.
Parent-teacher conferences with you, huh?
Yes, but not for what I. Well, what do you think they were about?
Your excessive talking, maybe the doodling.
Funnily enough, no. You know what the parent-teacher conferences were about?
What?
Amanda is sticking up for other kids in the class.
Nope, that she went
Amanda
to
is
back
correcting
her
me.
black power
Like I had a teacher,
stance.
Miss Schwenk, who called a conference because she was talking about Aboriginal art.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she stood in front of the class and said, you know, that the Aborigines are a Stone Age people. And I was like, ma'am, that there are Aboriginals alive right now. Like, they are a part of civilization. Like, right. What are you talking about? And she's like, well, no, you know, what I mean is that they've never advanced. And we in a classroom in Orlando, Florida. So, like, if we don't check this type of stuff.
Even in her saying, I know she was a student and she was having her rebuttal and answering, correcting the teacher, but if she said it the way she just did, ma'am, you are coming off, from a kid. The teacher probably like, who the hell is this little bitch telling me? It just seemed like Amanda has been grown since she was a child.
It's gonna just continue. So I was that student. Like, I was the kid who was always raising my hand and just wasn't easily appeased by simply just someone being an authority.
Right.
And I love this because when she called my mom and said, I'd like to set a conference up because I have some complaints about Amanda. My mom said, well, that's interesting because Amanda has some complaints about you.
Well, there go her mama being her damn
and so
backyard cheerleader with her bullshit.
My mom and Mr. Wright and Miss Cersei, is all black people at Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando, Florida. And this lady sat there and actually you and Mr. Wright had the same build. And Mr. Wright was like, all right, so, we're here to discuss Amanda disrupting the class with her talking. And she was like, no, Amanda doesn't disrupt the class with her talking. She actually helps the other students out. He's like, oh, okay. So is it about her grades? And she's like, actually, no. One of her art pieces is featured in our exhibit at the library. He's like,
so now this the same teacher you just said you had to correct.
Me in front of the class. And these three black people are like, here we go with this racist bullshit, because that's really what it is. We're in Florida in the 80s and the 90s. And
but let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think she would have felt equally as offended if a white kid, because I'm assuming this teacher was white, right? Mm-hmm. If a white child would have corrected her, I think most teachers would feel some type of way if a child corrects them.
That's not for me to surmise. I'm just saying that my experience was
disrespectful, bitch. Any adult would think, look at a child crazy if you try to correct them.
White girl said, no, Amanda didn't steal it. I did. She was like,
she need to go find something else safe to do because she just makes up shit. She's a liar. Amanda Seals is a fucking liar.
In the 90s, and I'm talking to you about a white woman who is speaking about black people, indigenous people in a country where those same indigenous people have had all of their land taken from them by former criminals that were sent there from England. And she is calling them Stone Age people. And I, as a black girl, the only black girl in her class, am correcting her.
But my thing is, you're right. She possibly misspoke or she didn't know.
I guess my question to you is, why do you even feel compelled at this juncture in this interview? Why would you even feel compelled?
See, that's when she started getting dismissive towards Shannon in his own fucking interviews. It's almost like he didn't even get a chance to ask that many questions. How are you gonna be dismissive to this man because he is calling you out on bullshit that he see? Anybody with fucking eyes and a good sense of intuition can call you out on some bullshit, Miss Smarty Pants Amanda.
Because I'm not defending, but my thing is that what I'm trying to say, most adults, when kids correct them or speak, feel some type of way. This is not unique to a black, white, or white, black. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm sorry that you took it that way. But I remember when I was growing up, my grandparents and parents said, hey, kids, stay in your place.
Exactly.
Adults are speaking.
Right.
That's all. Maybe that didn't happen where you were from in Orlando, Florida. But where I grew up,
say where she from, Beachville.
Kids did not correct adults.
Look at how she looking.
So I apologize if you thought it came off as combative.
No problem.
She's an asshole.
Let's get into your acting. You've been at this game
He
for a
was
long
done
time.
at
You
that
started
point.
in 1993 as a child actor. Was that something that you always wanted to do?
There go
Not
personality
that I always
switch.
wanted to do. I mean, I started dance very, very young. In 1989, was on Disney. Well, no, I was on sorry.
Anyway, enough Amanda bullshit. Like I said, I just wanted to recap the first 20 something minutes of the Club Shay Shay interview, the Amanda Seals edition of the Club Shay Shay interviews. Amanda has a psychological problem. Like I said, she self-diagnosed herself with autism. Only to recant that. That lets you know right there that this lady is a liar. I can see why many people find her very unlikable. And now they just add that you are a narcissist to me. If anything, and I'm not a doctor, I would say that she probably got ADHD because she was just rambling on, going. Uh, and she got mad that people did not see her point of view. So I think she need to go back to the drawing table with her diagnosis, self-diagnosis. Don't do that no more, Amanda. If you unlikable, just be the villain. Be the villain to everybody. What you all think? Do you all think Amanda is just unlikable? Or she have a right to keep on going about, her regular Amanda ways? Let me know what you all think at Messy Ho ATL. Holla at you. Thanks for watching the recap with me.